Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to do a really raw chat with you guys, I guess. I was going to plan things out of what I was going to talk about. Gonna give things a shot and see where it goes. So, hi, I'm Ness. I'm 30 years old. I live in Australia. I'm married. I have one daughter. And I lived with something called C-PTSD, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Having a channel like this can be very dark and depressing, I guess. And that's not really the kind of person I am. I'm quite light-hearted. I like to make jokes. I like to laugh. So yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of who I am, really. But I thought it would be cool to connect with other people who've also had C-PTSD or know someone who has C-PTSD, because it has been a big part of my life. I don't know, this is all quite new to me, but I felt compelled to, I guess, reach out and find new people, make new friends. So that's what I'm doing. I guess growing up was very challenging for me. I dealt with a lot of bullying. My parents struggled a bit raising me. I think I was maybe a little bit challenging as a child. But yeah, I encountered bullying like pretty much all of my primary schooling. Basically from the very first day I started until the end, I had people bullying me. That kind of like led up until adulthood. I wouldn't say it was as often, but it happened here and there. I guess people just saw me as an easy target or someone to make fun of or something like that. That, you know, that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I remember thinking at a young age how that definitely wasn't true. I was very scared as a kid. I loved school. I loved school. I loved to learn. I loved my teachers. I loved doing little projects. I loved reading. I loved maths. But I was scared of going to school because I was terrified of kids that were bullying me. And they were a lot older as well. It's hard to say that like it affected me at the time, like in a way that was profound or prominent. But it kind of like created who I was as an adult. I was very shy, I was very timid, I was very scared. But when I reflect back on like who I really was as a child, I was quite expressive, I was quite loud. I liked entertaining people. So maybe that's a reason why I've been drawn to YouTube. Now I've been working on myself and trying to figure out who I was as a kid, who I genuinely was, and try to bring that out more now. Being bullied, it made me afraid of new experiences. It made me afraid of making friends, talking to people. So I feel like it stifled a lot of my opportunities in life, especially in the workplace. I struggled to talk to colleagues. I struggled to, I was scared of making mistakes. I was a perfectionist. I was just really anxious. And I think I was quite an anxious child to begin with. I was very sensitive as a child, and a sensitive child plus bullying is like, becomes me, like someone who's very afraid, very scared, very shy, very socially awkward. And I think I'd say the past maybe 10, 11 years, I've been trying to work on a lot of my trauma, a lot of these things that affected me and, ruined a lot of the opportunities have had in life, and trying to figure out how can I be my true self without allowing all these things to stifle me. The way that it kind of affected me, I guess, when I was younger, I constantly had nightmares. I pretty much grew up having nightmares. Like every single night I'd have a nightmare pretty much. And that led into like night paralysis, night terror type things, especially when I was young. Well, not especially, but when I was young, and then they kept happening until I was much older. Towards the end of like high school, I'd often feel like sick or like I wouldn't want to go to school. So I'd kind of like tell my parents that I was feeling sick and things like that. But then I'd have to go to the doctor, and the doctor somehow always was like, yeah, it sounds like you have anxiety. And I was like, I'm an anxious person. I don't have anxiety. Like that kind of disconnect from like who I was and how I felt about myself. Like it just wasn't there. I literally didn't know who I was. I couldn't like recognize myself at times, even in like mirrors and things. Like I'd occasionally look in the mirror and be like, who is that? Like, I don't know. It was very strange. I had moments of like dissociation, just kind of like zoning out. And I had moments of like not feeling like I was real, like feeling like the world wasn't real, I wasn't real, I was like a ghost, and like I was just like a ghost walking amongst people. I felt like I was like on like inside of like a, like a snow globe. I felt like I was like inside of a snow globe, and like I was looking out at the world, and like I could see what was happening in the world. I just didn't feel like I could connect with the world. Like I couldn't touch it. I couldn't like reach out and like touch the world. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I felt. Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of anxiety, nightmares, like dissociation, depersonalization, derealization. I don't know. I get those three confused sometimes, but yeah, that feeling of not feeling real. But I remember as a kid, I remember them trying to like, at my primary school, trying to implement a program where, it was like, how, have you been bullied? In what way? What are some ideas we can do about it? And things like that. And they're trying to implement like a buddy system, like a peer system to counteract bullying. I don't think it really worked. But I just remember being like, one of the questions was like, do you feel like this will affect you when you grow up? And I remember thinking, yeah, this is going to affect me when I grow up. It's something that kind of stuck to me, and just kind of like words, like negative words, just like replayed over and over in my head. And it's hard. It's hard to deal with. Yeah, it became such a large part of my life. And I don't know, I wish there was something that like I could have done in school. Like I wished like when I grew up that I could somehow help prevent bullying from occurring in schools, or I could like implement some program or something like that to help with to mitigate bullying in schools. So it wasn't only childhood bullying, but I experienced like bullying in my adult life, in workplaces and things like that, like people insulting me at work, co-workers insulting me at work, and just treating me very harshly at work, putting me down in front of others, things like that. So it was quite challenging, quite tough, and it was really taking a toll on my mental health to the point where I couldn't work for a period of time. I just couldn't work. I couldn't bring myself to work. I was anxious. I had panic attacks. I was like, nah. And knowing myself, I was a very ambitious person. So I wanted to get out there. I wanted to work. I wanted to, do something, make a name for myself, I guess. But I just had all these like limitations and all these like issues that was stopping me. And it's been really tough, and it's only been the past like 10 years where I've been trying to work on all of these things, and my idea of success has changed greatly. It's not like how it used to be. I have my own little family now, so I'm married and I have a kid, which is something I was really scared of doing when I was younger because I just didn't have very good examples. But it's been really good. I have a supportive husband, and I have a really great kid. She's adorable and she makes me laugh every day. But yeah, it took a lot for me to go get help. After a while, I decided enough was enough, and I went to the doctor, and I basically told them I was scared. So I just said, I think I have depression and anxiety. And the doctor was like, so would you like to take antidepressants? And I was like, no. I personally wouldn't go on antidepressants straight away until I've evaluated all the options and make a very informed decision. Yeah, I have taken them. I am taking them now, but I wouldn't immediately go on them. So he said, okay, well, the other option is you can speak to our counselor or a psychologist that we have here. So I was like, all right, let's do that. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good fit for us, which is another important thing. If you find a psychologist and you don't feel like you connect or click with them, don't feel obligated to stay with them, because you need to have someone who you feel comfortable with, because otherwise the therapy relationship, it's not going to work, and you're just going to end up feeling worse, which is what I did. I felt so much worse when I went there, which is sad to say, but I did. I felt really bad. It just wasn't working for me. The kind of style that the person was doing, it didn't work for me. But then, yeah, eventually I found someone who was really good, and we connected well, and I made a lot of progress. I was there for about 3 years, and we worked a lot on emotion dysregulation, which is like a big part of what I was struggling with. So basically, because I was always on in fight or flight mode, I would tend to have kind of an overreaction to things. So if I felt like someone was being mean to me, if they were close to me, I would get really, really upset or really, really mad, for example. And they would be like, whoa, what? All I did was just, I didn't even do anything. I just kind of they may have given me a look or something, or they may have said something in a certain way. And because I was constantly on edge, I was and it wasn't it wasn't great. I didn't know how to control it. And yeah, it's taken me so much work to be able to regulate my feelings, regulate my emotions and my reactions. I losing my train of thought as always. A lot of myself like is questioning like, why am I doing this? Why am I talking about these like deep intimate topics and like mental health and things like that? And I think the reason is because it's really impacted me. Like, it's basically been my mental health has kind of been like a second person in my life that's like been a very prominent part of my life. So it kind of only makes sense to talk about it. I always see a lot of like C-PTSD, I always see a lot of C-PTSD or like trauma content where it kind of feels impersonal. And like maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but I kind of wanted to watch someone that I connected with, that I related to, that I could kind of like, yeah, I guess like see their journey and see what helps them and progress and I don't know, things like that. I don't know, just a lot of it feels, a lot of the things out there feel very impersonal, very like, here's what you can do and stuff like that, but it's not really like a person like sharing their life. And I don't know, I guess that's what I wanted to see, but I don't know, maybe it's just me, I'm not sure. But hopefully this channel isn't super depressing and dark and terrible. I hope that it's kind of like a source of light and positivity and hope. I am just one person, so if you have like anything that you want to suggest, feel free to comment below and let me know, because I am very willing to make this a place that you guys will enjoy. That is basically all I wanted to talk about for now. I hope I covered everything that I wanted to say. I'm planning to upload video every week if possible, I hope. I've also started like a little Instagram channel where I can post like my tips and things that help me with C-PTSD as well. Yeah, so I think that's all for now, and I can't wait to talk to you in the comments. And yeah, suggest anything that you want and or any ideas that you have for me. But yeah, I hope you have a great day or night or evening, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.